Well, folks, it's around 7:30 in the morning here, Friday, 13th. Um, Rich's Adventures has taken a little turn. I'm 1 month out from having a stroke. I'm just going to go through my little story here of how it happened, just for anybody out there that might be interested. So, I had my 63rd birthday, September 22nd, and I filed for Social Security the day after that. And then pretty much less than a month later, I had a stroke. And I'm lucky it wasn't a really bad one. It didn't leave me totally disabled, but I'm having a hard time using my hand doesn't work, and my leg is coming around after a month. I've been doing a lot of work. So just to explain how my stroke happened, I got up in the morning around this time like I always do, and I felt a little funny, and I was wearing some pajamas or sweats, and I got up, I made my coffee, and I felt a little weird, and I didn't know what it was, but I figured, God damn it, I'm going to shake this off, and I'm just going to get out and get to work, and it's going to go away. And I couldn't pinpoint what it really was. So I went and I put some pants on, and my hand was still working pretty good at the time. And I got dressed and I went outside, around 8 o'clock in the morning or so. I went outside and I was going to clean the gutters. So I climbed up the ladder and I got up there and I was cleaning out the gutters, and I took the downspout down to clean the downspout because it was all clogged. I hosed it all out. And, I just didn't feel right. I can't really explain exactly what was going on, but it just wasn't right. Anyway, later on, Charles got up, and I told him I didn't feel right climbing that ladder again, so he helped me put the downspout back up, and we had some gravel in the back of the truck, doing a little gravel work in the driveway over there. So he drove the truck over there, and he was unloading. I didn't feel good getting up in the truck even. Something was just off, and he was unloading the truck, and I got grabbed a rake, I was raking some leaves around out there. It's fall, it's November, October. This is like the 10th of October. And I raked up some leaves, and I managed to make it, came in and sat down, had another cup of coffee. I drank a lot of coffee. I drank 3 or 4 cups a day, is what I was drinking, not now. So, later on that day, my daughter called and said she was coming home. She didn't feel well, and she asked if I would make her some chicken soup. So I made her some chicken. So she stopped and got a roasted chicken on the way home, and she got home, and I told her, I said, I just don't feel right. And she's trained in this kind of stuff a little bit. She was a lifeguard at the pool for like 3 or 4 years, and she's had some CPR tests, and she knows how to test for a stroke. So she had me hold my hands out, and I was doing pretty good. I was holding my arms out pretty good, and squeezing. I still had some strength in my squeeze, and I just didn't feel. I just didn't know I was really having a stroke. So this is later on in the day. This is many hours after I woke up. Now it's around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I made the soup, and I went out, and this is when I really noticed something was bad. I just went out to take my shower like I normally do, and I was squirting the shampoo in my hand, and my hand was weak, really weak. This is around 6 o'clock in the evening, and I managed to take my shower and get cleaned up. I came back in the house and hung out for a couple hours just sitting in my chair, and I decided to go to bed early that night. I went to bed around 8 o'clock. So Went to bed around 8, and the kids were out here watching a movie because Stephanie was home. She didn't feel well. She was sick, coming down with a little cold or something. So her and Charles were sitting out here watching a movie, and I heard the movie going. I was laying in bed, and I just wasn't sleeping very well, so I got up out of bed around 9:30, 10, and sat in my chair again for a little while. And the kids went to bed, and I was just sitting in my chair, just sitting there, wondering what the hell's going on. I knew something was up, and it was pretty serious at this point. And just stood up out of my chair and collapsed, man. I fell down on the floor, and boom, I hit the floor in the living room there. And I just laid there for a minute, and I just, what the hell? And I was having a hard time pushing myself back up off the floor. And Charles came down. He heard me fall. He came down and grabbed me, and he said, "God damn it, Dad, why do you gotta wait till things are so screwed up, that, we're gonna take you to the hospital right now?" And I'm saying, I gotta go to the bathroom first. And, I put my shoes on, and I could still walk, and, I wasn't totally, out of it or anything. I never did go totally out of it. So they took me to the emergency room, and luckily there was nobody in line, and they checked me into the emergency, and they did a couple tests and said, looks like you're having a stroke. So I was in the hospital there I was only in the hospital for 2 days. So they gave me an aspirin, and that's pretty much all they really did. They gave me an aspirin, and they took a whole bunch of tests, about $45,000 worth of shit, and it really didn't do anything for me except the test to tell me that I had a stroke. And they did a CAT scan, and they did an MRI, and I guess the 2 days in the hospital, and they told me I had a stroke in my upper paunch on the right side, which affected my left side, of course. And they said it was kind of a rare kind of a stroke, and not a really bad stroke, but a stroke nonetheless. And it's totally affected my life and changed everything. I can't work, and I'm just really trying to recover from this thing and working hard. And so they wheeled me out of the hospital. My kids came by. They were there most of the whole time I was there, and I slept a little bit. I was really tired. I came home, limping pretty bad. My leg is really weak, and my hand was, I'd lost probably 90% maybe 80% of the function in my left hand. So I came home, but I still had some strength, and I still could use my hand a little bit, a little teeny bit. I could use it. So I, when I got home, I'm not the kind of guy that sits around and wait for stuff to happen. I'm always a get it done kind of guy. If you look at some of my past videos, you can see I'm pretty active at 63. I'm still out there sanding floors and working and building stuff in my garage, and the camper project, and building a little house and stuff in the last couple of years. And so, I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to sit around and wait for something to happen, So I got busy, and I YouTubed up a bunch of videos. I'll put a link in the description of my favorite people that I watch. I watch Dr. Tara. She's #1 down in Florida. I can't remember the name of her YouTube channel exactly right now. And then there's Kevin. He's a guy down in California. He's actually a stroke survivor, and he's a very inspirational guy as far as what he went through. He's 15 years out, and he says everything from here on out is therapy. Everything I do from here on out is therapy. So that's the way I look at it, And he's a hard worker. He gets out there and he gets busy, and he's, he had a major stroke, way worse than mine. He went into a coma and for a month before he got out of the hospital, and they put him into a hyperthermic, some kind of a hyperthermic, a coma, so his brain didn't swell. It's just horrible what happened to him. And he made a full recovery pretty much. He's still got some issues, but He's on YouTube, and I'll put links. You know, I'm not really sure how to do all that yet, but I'm going to have my son teach me how to put the links to Dr. Tara, Kevin, and this little Filipino guy. You know, I go to the Philippines. My kids are half Filipino. So, and I go to the Philippines. You know, I have a girlfriend in the Philippines. Yeah, it kind of messes up my... I was going to part retire, you know, and go to the Philippines, you know, for 3 months at a time, and that's on hold now. I gotta get this stuff straightened out, you know. But I think I might be better off there, to tell you the truth. The medical here it's terrible, man. You know, I haven't seen a neurologist yet. I'm a month out of the hospital. You can't get an appointment. I don't think I have an appointment until sometime next year to see a neurologist. And we got in to see a physical therapist, you know, a couple different physical therapists, and you know, I'm not sure that I'm getting much out of that yet. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different ones of those, so I have to keep searching for a physical therapist. I did see the primary care provider one time, and, you know, I have Better Health Insurance, and it just seems like there's not a lot of people in network that like that insurance company. So hey, let's see, man. You know, there's a lot of stuff in the news these days about CEOs of big insurance companies getting blasted, and you know, not too many people are happy with the insurance and the medical care we're receiving in this country, unless you're rich. You know, if you got a ton of money, sky's the limit. But you know, guys like me, just a blue-collar guy who has meager at best insurance, not really poor. If you're really poor and you have nothing, you get good insurance, you know. But anyway, that's another story. I'm here to talk about my story. So, you know, here I am a month out, and Nathan, that's the Filipino therapist I was talking about, Nathan. You know, so between those three, you know, you get enough stuff, enough information, and YouTube is where I find them all, you know. Matter of fact, YouTube is all I have anymore. I don't watch TV. I don't watch regular TV. I don't watch the regular news. There's nothing on the news that I want to see. It's all a bunch of lies. You know, our government, a bunch of crooks. You know, my business has been in the dumper most of last year, and it's been slowly declining for the last 3 or 4 years. Ever since this administration started, my business has pretty much tapered off, and we're hoping to get a pickup on that here in the next couple of years, that maybe our economy will start growing and people will start spending money again. But right now, people are not spending money on things like hardwood floors. You know, they're just not doing it. They're too busy trying to buy medical insurance and food and pay their rent and pay their mortgage, you know. God forbid they buy a house, you know. Just like Klaus Schwab said, you will own nothing and you will like it. That's pretty much the motto of this administration. And that's not the American way that I grew up in. Matter of fact, this is not my America anymore. But anyway, so I'm not gonna make this too long. I'm just kind of explaining where I'm at, and as we go on with the videos here, I'm gonna make a couple videos. Man, I figure I may as well. I already started a YouTube channel, and this is where I'm at. This is part of Rich's adventure. This is my new adventure that I did not plan. You know, I was gonna go to Arizona this year again, like I did last year, make a trip down to Arizona and take a different route. And you know, part of what I want to do as I get older is I want to go around and do more traveling and seeing some stuff, driving that old truck of mine and using that camper that I got. And I'm a real comfortable camper, but right now, you know, I can't really go out and do that. I just can't get in that camper and get myself cleaned up like I was before, you know, doing the sponge baths. And tell you, one of the hardest things right now is trying to take a shower. You know, I'm sitting down on a stool. You know, I'm a little crippled. I'm a little crippled, and I've got a little brain damage. That's all there is to it. I'm slurring on my words. I can't really talk as well as I used to, but I can still talk, and I still have my wits about me pretty much. And I remember most of my past. You know, when people bring stuff up, I remember a lot of stuff. And so, you know, I guess I'm pretty damn lucky in that respect. And I can actually move my arm. You know, my hand moves a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it moves a little bit. And I got these little toys here that I use. I call it my toy box. I keep a good sense of humor, and that's one of the things Dr. Tara talks about, you know, the things you gotta do, man. Movement is one of them. So like as soon as I get done with this little video here, I'm gonna go out and walk around the block. I've been walking around the block every morning with my cane, you know, because I'm not walking quite right yet, and I don't want to fall down. You know, that's one of the worst things I've heard, is that if you fall down, and I've done some tests. I lay down on the floor here, and I couldn't get back up off the floor. You know, my son had to pick me up. So, you know, that's a weird situation to be in when you're so used to being independent and making your own way in this world, you know. And I'm the one that helps people, you know. That's the way I've always done. I've always been the one to help people out and to do things for other people, not other people having to do things for me. But I'm very grateful that my kids are here. You know, my daughter was going to move back home. She's been out on her own for a couple of years now, and she was going to move back home for a little while, and she decided to quit her job, and not just because of me, but she decided she didn't like her job that she had after she got out of college. She quit her job, and she said she's just going to come home and help out with me for a while. So I'm very grateful for all that stuff. So she's been giving me physical therapy on my hand. We YouTubed up a bunch of videos, because you can find all the stuff these physical therapists do on YouTube, man. It's all out there. As a matter of fact, everything's out there. Whatever you want to do, it's out there. You can even learn how to do a hardwood floor or build a camper. Whatever you want to do, it's out there on YouTube. So, you know, my daughter's giving me some physical therapy, and my son was giving me some physical therapy for a couple of weeks. You know, some different, you know, balance stuff that we were looking at. And, you know, now I'm pretty much doing a lot of stuff on my own, just trying to keep working everything. Like right now, I'm playing with my hand. You know, I'm stretching my fingers out and bending them up. Constantly moving, you know, I gotta be moving. So she says moving is the most important thing, and the second most important thing is your attitude, you know, staying mentally with it and being grateful and accepting where I'm at, which, you know, I belong to a 12-step program. I have belonged to a 12-step program for off and on throughout my whole life. This last time, you know, I went 17 years in my little 12-step program. I haven't had a drop for 20, but I did quit going to the meetings, you know, during COVID and all that. Just too many weirdos, man. Too many people that I had a lot of respect for during that whole thing. They kind of went sideways on me, man. They freaked out and bought and drank the Kool-Aid, man. They believed everything that the government was telling them, and I learned to never believe anything this government tells us. Nothing, you know. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they tell us that's right and normal. I watched a video this morning. Candace Owen did an interview with a guy that was on the USS Liberty, you know, and you know, that one thing alone right there, that one incident in our history of the United States government will make you just hate our government, man. Love the people, but really despise some of the leadership, or whatever. It's not leadership. It's communist, is what it is. It's not the America that I grew up believing that we lived in. But anyway, so Stephanie and Charles are both here, you know, and they get to go do. I'm still independent, pretty much, you know. They feed me, they make food for me, and they're counting calories. And like I said, I was drinking 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, and I'm down to, I only drink 1 cup of real coffee in the morning, and I make it good, and I really enjoy that cup. I like my coffee, but that afternoon and evening cups, they're gone. A little bit of decaf and a little bit of tea. Only eating 2 meals a day. My son's got me trying to get me on 1,700 calories a day because I'm overweight. You know, I'm 205 pounds and I'm only 5'7", so I'm overweight, almost bordering on obese, I guess. But you know, so I got to lose weight. And you know what they told me brought this whole thing on was you know, a couple 3 years ago when I was building that little house, I was down at the fire department pulling a permit because they made me put a fire sprinkler system in it. And you know, I said, while I'm here, why don't you take my blood pressure while I'm here? You know, they do that stuff at the fire department. They're a bunch of paramedics and stuff. So I had them take my blood pressure, and this was like 3 years ago, and they said, well, you're like 200 over 100 something. They said, you should go to emergency right now. You're on Papa Gordon. You know, I didn't. I went and saw the next day I went and saw my primary care, and she put me on Losartan, you know, a blood thinner, high blood pressure medication. And, you know, I was taking that medication, and then, you know, my blood pressure, I got it down. You know, I was down to, you know, 130, 140 over 80, something like that. And I was taking my blood pressure regularly, and then, you know, I started working out, and I lost like 20 pounds or some damn thing, and got myself in better shape. And, you know, I weaned myself off of the pills, what I thought. I weaned myself off of it, and I quit taking it. And I quit taking it for a while, and then went and got some blood work and a physical done at the clinic down there, my primary care, and they told me you probably don't have to take it anymore, you know. But, you know, just like always, I got feeling good and everything was going well, and I was in good shape. And I took another trip to the Philippines, and, you know, over there, a lot of the food, they don't have the greatest food in the Philippines, you know. But they do have a lot of junk food you can get, you know, that's like McDonald's and stuff like that. And so I started eating, you know, fast food again, and a lot of the cakes and the pies I like, and, you know, I got a sweet tooth, and so I started eating bad again over there. No excuse. But, you know, when I got back home, I was there for a month, and when I got back home, I kind of continued those bad habits again, and that high blood pressure crept back up on me. And you know, I wasn't taking my blood pressure regularly, and I don't know where exactly it went, but they said that's probably what sparked the stroke, was the high blood pressure. You know, something cut loose in there. But so now I'm on Losartan again, and they got me taking a baby aspirin in the mornings, and they got me on a, what do they call that? A statin. You know, they got me on a statin, one of those in the evenings. And, you know, I've heard a lot of bad things about statins and good things. You know, you know, I don't like taking pills. I've never been a regular pill taker in my entire life. You know, and I've always had the attitude, if I'm gonna do drugs, I'd rather do street drugs. You know, I'd rather go out and buy some weed, or, you know, buy some it up. That was what I did when I was younger, and that probably all contributes to bad heart. You know, I did everything when I was younger. I tried everything, you know. But really, my only drugs of choice were alcohol and some pot. So, you know, it's all come back to roost now. But, you know, I'm 63. I'm still talking, and I'm still alive. I just thought I'd put a video or two out, and I'll go through my routine, my workout routine, in the next video. I just wanted to break the ice here for anybody that watches my videos, and, you know, just say where I'm at and what's going on with me. You know, it's not a fun thing, but it is reality, and this is my reality. You know, I got to accept it, and I gotta go out. I gotta get busy. You know, if you go back and look in my videos, you know, I play guitar a little bit. I have for many years, but I'm not that good at it, but I like it. You know, it's one of those things. I put on my blues backing track and improvised along with some backing tracks. You know, I pretty much did it every day a little bit for 15-20 minutes every day, sometimes more, sometimes less. But it's one of the things that I really enjoy, and I can't do it. As a matter of fact, I bought a slide the other day. It's right here in my bag of toys. I bought a slide figuring I could play it with a slide and screw around with it like that. But you know what? It just don't work. There's no control in this arm and this hand yet, and it's so weak. I can't lift anything, you know, and my hand I can't even carry a bag of groceries or anything, you know. It just opens up. For some reason, I seem to have a little bit of closure on my hand, but I can't open it, you know, and I don't understand that. I noticed that when I was in the hospital, that, you know, I couldn't open my hand, and that's a weird feeling, you know. I could pick things up, but I couldn't couldn't drop them. So I'll show more about that, but this is just my first video, just explaining where I'm at for anybody that might be interested. I know it's kind of boring, but you know, there's a lot of people out there with a lot of great success stories on YouTube on strokes, and you know, I think attitude is a big part of it, you know, just like Dr. Tara says, you know, it's that damn movement, it's attitude, mental health, attitude, movement, working out, keep moving, and rebuilding those neuroplasties or neuroconnectors, you know, because there's brain damage, you know, part of my brain has died. I get emotional when I talk to, you know, when I'm telling people sometimes. I'm not right now, but sometimes I just get emotional real easy these days, it seems like, you know, and I actually cry a little bit, and I find humor in things that are not really funny. Brain damage, you know, so there's definitely some damage going on. But anyway, I'm going to cut this one off and edit it out a little bit. I got my little kitty here playing with my hands. The kitty, my daughter's kitty here, she's keeping me company. I'm really not going anywhere too much. I've driven just a couple of times. I drove around the block. I don't feel comfortable driving yet. I don't know if my perception's off or my brain's just foggy because of sitting around. But I don't really feel comfortable driving. So guess that's it for now, and I'll get back to you. Make another video maybe tomorrow, or I'll start making some videos for anybody that might be interested. But no building videos coming up. This is stroke rehab for a while here. All right, thanks for watching.